everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Landmark Session Series produced by Oxford American Magazine and our partners at Blake Street Wellness Center and the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences. I'm Danielle A. Jackson, Managing Editor at the Oxford American, and I definitely want to start out by thanking Blake Street and UAMS, who have worked with us for the past several weeks to bring these intimate exchanges between our audiences and really awesome and important artists and thinkers. Tonight, I think we have a really special treat in store. Musicians Adia Victoria and Joshua Asante will be joining us in an evening of performance and conversation about the blues, mental health and healing, and making art during times of trouble. So thank you very much to them. I'll introduce them and talk to you a little bit about who they are. Adia Victoria, as probably many in our audience already know, is a Gothic blues artist from upstate South Carolina. She is currently based in Nashville, where she makes art and looks out after her good mind. Her most recent album, Silences, was co-produced by the National's Aaron Jesner. When not making art, she devotes her life to her cats, communing with her ancestors, and minding her business. Thank you, Adia.
Hello, everybody.
Joshua Asante is a musician, writer, and photographer. He is the lead vocalist, guitarist, and keyboardist for the Little Rock, Arkansas-based bands Amasa Hines and Velvet Kente. Asante has toured extensively as a solo performer, sharing what he calls astral soul, which is a blend of electronic and soul music, wherein one can sense the presence of many artistic forebears and fluidity. On stage, Joshua sings lyrics inspired by the travel through space and the paintings of Huey Lee Smith and the literary work of Black speculative fiction giants Henry Dumas and Octavia Butler. Hey, Joshua, thank you. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
I would really love to get to the music, so I am going to pass it over to y'all to begin.
Okay. My hands were really sweaty before. I'm like.
Are you nervous?
I think it's just adrenaline of being in front of people now. Like, I don't know. It's weird, but those people, I mean, they're not. It's weird. Like, I don't like it because I can't see them and they can see me. It's like I want to see them, but they can't see me or whatever.
I get it.
Yeah. So this is another song about South Carolina. Surprise. And it was a song that I wrote, again, during quarantine. It's called Carolina Bound. I just, I want to go home. But I don't want to die doing it, you know? Okay. How do I play this? Tennessee has broke me to my knees. The pretty boys in Memphis have made a fool out of me. Times are hard in Nashville. The cash I had is gone. I left my kind in Caroline. This land is not my home. I mean to leave and not be found like a river out on the ground. I'm Carolina bound. I'm Carolina bound. I wandered through the mountains, through the blue and through the smoke. I let these folks change me and rearrange me, and that's what hurts most. The days have turned to weeks, the months have turned to years. It's long past time I've turned to my pines. I'll be dead if I'm dying here. I mean to leave and not be found like a river out on the ground. I'm Carolina bound. I'm Carolina bound. I'm sorry. I long for my mother, my brother and sister too, to see and smell the ocean and turn my pain head to blues. I mean to leave and not be found like a river out underground. I'm Carolina bound. I'm Carolina bound. I'm Carolina bound. I'm Carolina bound.
Thank you.
Ah.
I have chills. Thank you.
Hey, that was. I'm gonna grab a tissue. You do your thing. I'll be right back.
Thank you, I do.
Whew. I'll be right back.
This song's called I Do It All Again. I've been wondering
Thank you.
The crowd goes mild.
I just earlier, thank you both for those selections. Earlier, you both talked about kind of leaning into the blues and thinking about um, that art form as a way towards healing. And one thing I've been thinking about, we are, as Adia knows, and some people in the audience might know, we're working on the music issue for this year. It's like a collection of like our greatest ever music writing, along with some new writing, guest edited with the singer songwriter Brittany Howard. Um, and I know you have an essay in there, Adia, but Jamie Hatley has an essay in there also.
Jamie,
Hello,
that's
Jamie,
my girl.
watching or listening. Um, and she talks about, she uses this phrase, ancestral technologies.
Mm.
She talks about how she's been leaning into those. And I mean, I think it can be anything that she's talking about, from a certain kind of floor wash um, to like an art practice to a musical practice. So, which really goes along with what you were talking about the blues. So, I would just love to hear about how both of you first got interested in practicing and like devoting your life to these particular art forms that are so rooted in Black expressive culture in the South.
So, yeah, sorry about that. I got awash in a sea of emotions. It's just I've never cried while trying to perform before. Actually, I'm not sorry. It was a
You
lot.
never cry?
Yeah, take the time also
Jesus.
to like.
No, I think I have, but I not like this. That was just like, oh, I almost threw up. Um, so I think what drew me to the blues was growing up in the church. There's this very strong tie, obviously, to the sacred when you grow up in the church, and the church that I grew up in was the Seventh Day Adventist Church, which was a very self-serious church. Not much joy there. And I was particularly excluded from the outside world by virtue of the fact that it was a Seventh Day Adventist church, so we kept the Jewish Sabbath. And then the school that I attended for up until sixth grade was part of my church. So I was essentially kind of like in a little cult. Um, so I had a very strong curiosity about the world, and the way that I looked at it as a kid was like, if there's something that is so sacred as Christ, as God, then there must be something that is equally profane, secular. And I was very curious to explore that world. And I think the blues kind of gave me access to the sacred in myself, but also the profane, the secular parts of myself that I kind of had to section off and quarter off growing up in the church. You have to deny your appetite, your libido, your flesh. And I think what the blues did was it gave me access to my flesh, not just like metaphorically, like my corporal body. I was able to inhabit it fully with the blues. So I would say that's what drew me into the blues, was like I want a ticket, I want an entry into Adia. Like I want to be able, for as long as I walk this earth, I want to be on this earth. I want to be in this soil. Like I want to be here in this air under this sky. And I feel like so much with growing up in Christianity, they treat the world, like I say in my essay, as like a waiting room to eternity. You're just passing through. You're not here to make memories. You're just trying to get to heaven. It's like, no, but I'm here. And like, this is the only truth that I know, and I want to embody it. And so the blues, for me, it allowed me to live in my truth, my beautiful, stanky, fucked up truth.
How about you, Joshua?
Oh yeah, before I started playing with you, I man, I kind of categorically distanced myself from any blues labeling out of spite, like just out of spite. And I think I first vocalized that like this week. I never said it that way, but that's what it was. I was talking to a friend last night, and I was like, being born in the Delta, growing up mostly in the Delta, chopping cotton when my friends were like playing summer league basketball. It's like my experience is a little different than a lot of people who are saying that, touting the blues as their path into, the music world. So for a long time, I kind of just didn't want any of that label. I didn't want to be associated with it because I felt like there was so much contrived so-called blues being played.
Did you feel like it was also kind of connected to like a whole lot of struggle and
Yeah,
Drama.
just misery
yeah,
and drama. And it's like, yeah, man, that's not all that we are. It's not just about despair. It is what I said a little while ago. It's also about just having somebody to talk to in this really twisted world. Somebody as some entity that is living and breathing like I believe the blues is, and I can talk to it and it speaks back, and we understand each other. But for years I just refused. Like, no, man, I could play that, the licks very easily just from the understanding. It was like, I don't want to do that. But then we started playing together, and she introduced me one night and was like, hey, my brother, he played it, respect his blues, like respect. I was like, respect his blues, like this is not that. But it is. It absolutely is, at its core, at its periphery, like all of it is that. It's just an extension of, the blues that we recognize as being organic,
Yeah. That was one of the things that, like, when I got started playing blues, it's like you said, like you can hear the licks, you can play, like, I call it barbecue blues,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like, let me get a side of like baked beans blues. And I love that stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, like I appreciate it, but I feel like if someone like Skip James or Robert Johnson were walking this earth in 2020, they wouldn't be playing that. They'd be like, oh, that's done. And the thing about the blues is that it is such a forward thinking art form. And I think that a lot of it has been treated like it's this artifact, this dusty thing that, people can take off the shelf, like Eric Clapton, whatever, and they're proficient at the blues, but it's not the blues. I think there was a line Brother Albert Murray said, like, he's like, you could get like the fastest playing, blue-eyed brother, you can shred and lick, but essentially, like, who gives a shit, like,
Right.
and I understand that, of not wanting to, like, being from the Delta, not wanting to say, like, I'm not the blues, because I understand when people hear, oh, you're from the Delta and you play the blues, I know they're thinking Clarksdale, they're thinking,
Yeah.
And I don't, that's what I never saw you as. I saw you as like a blues kind of poetic spirit, the same way that I see myself. I feel like, yeah.
I also got to be honest, I feel like I ran from it for a while too. Like I didn't want to be associated with that barbecue that you're talking about.
I love barbecue too.
And I do love barbecue.
I mean, but you were comfortable with like other labels like soul. I mean, first of all, labels,
Yeah.
are maybe not really that useful for what you're actually doing, who you are
Right.
as an artist. But
Yeah, they're useful for these kinds of exchanges, but like, yeah, and I try not to be obnoxious with whatever I use, but it's like, God dang, it's not really useful.